So what's going on guys, Kids here and welcome back to a brand new video. For today I will show you everything that you need to know before you buy Sons of the Forest. So this is a highly anticipated sequel to the Forest survival horror game. Sons of the Forest is once again set to take the survival genre to new heights, and all players over the world seem to be very excited. So at the start of the game, all players will wake up on an island, which is much larger and more detailed than ever before, which is full of new cannibals and mutants, and with an arsenal of new weapons and tools. Sons of the Forest promises to be a terrifyingly horrific ride of epic survival adventures. So, if this sounds interesting to you, then let's get right into it. So, Sons of the Forest was originally expected to release in May 2022, but it was delayed to October, then delayed again to February 23rd of this year, which is currently the anticipated release date. However, on February 3rd, it was announced that the full release would again be delayed in favor of an early access period, which is expected to last about 6 to 8 months. So, why the early access? Well, developers said that Sons of the Forest is the biggest, most complex game they ever made, and instead of delaying a third time, they decided to involve the community in the continued development of this project. Before fully releasing the game, they would like to continue adding new items, new mechanics, gameplay balance and much more. So all in all, this means that we will be able to play the game if we buy it for $30 on the February 23rd. But after the 6 to 8 month period, the game will most likely wipe all of your progress for the full official release. So then as far as the story goes, the story behind the Sons of the Forest will be very familiar to anyone who played its predecessor, The Forest. It all starts with the helicopter crash, but instead of the protagonist being a civilian looking for his son, you're now some type of soldier with a team on a mission to rescue a billionaire suspected to be lost on the island. Right here is one potential member of that team, but we don't know yet if this is another player or NPC. But then there's Kelvin, a hard-working and adept soldier, although non-verbal, because of his head injury sustained in the crash. And the man we are seeing here might be the target of the storyline, but we'll have to wait to find out more. It's also unclear who is the new protagonist, and if there's any callback to Timmy, his father or the original story. Sons of the Forest will see the return of many familiar game mechanics, including cooking, crafting and building system, as well as similar inventory management. The devs have added new animations to the crafting process, so instead of your crafted objects just popping into existence like it did in the forest, now you actually get to watch it. And it doesn't stop there. We have also seen new animations for things like starting fires and even eating a raw fish. There's also a new 3D printer to improve your crafting ability, so we will be able to use a multicolored 3D printer, which we see right here, to craft an unknown multitude of items, apart from the mask that we can see as well. The construction system takes this to a whole new level that perhaps we've never seen before in a survival game, in addition to being able to build from blueprints like we saw in the forest, where you just place down a structure and fill it up with the required materials. In the Sons of the Forest, it will allow for a new type of free building. So you will be able to split logs into planks, then lay them down one by one to form a foundation, and then manually carve pointed tips into your defense wall, and even chop out windows to let some light in. With the help of magnetic snap points, you can set logs and sticks in the exact way or order that you want. Your own limitation will be your own imagination. The solar power will become an option as well. And in the terms of utility, we know that you will be able to recharge batteries that might be used to power things like flashlights, night vision goggles, a GPS, a 3D scanner, walkie-talkies, or even the battery-operated chainsaw. We also have seen the introduction of digging, but it still remains unclear what the full utility of this will be. We know that there will be underground items and locations to dig up and discover, such as this bunker right here, or perhaps even a cave entrance. And we might even have the ability to bury corpses, or even set traps under the soil level. We have also a few more weapon types to choose from. We've seen the return of weapons like the clubs, axes, the spear, bow, crossbow, and seemingly the katana and molotov. But many more tools are now at your disposal, including the taser stun, baton, pistol, shotgun, C4 explosives, a revolver, hand grenades, a selection of knights and even a tranquilizer gun. To make things even more customizable and fun, we've seen a variety of weapon attachments, ranging from scopes to even silencers. coupled with the ability to craft different types of armor, such as height armor and much more. You will be able to make an incredibly fun stealth build, but don't worry, because the core focus will be on melee combat, with a critical shortage of weapon ammunition, so you will really have to make some tough decisions on what to do with your very few available bullets. So then with that said, let's take a closer look at the monsters and other creatures. So, Sons of the Forest main objective with the second game is to improve their AI. The developers designed an extremely complex behavior, where characters can now become afraid, tired, angry, hungry, thirsty, bored, and etc. And these feelings influence their decision. So enemies can range from being curious and friendly to bullying and hostile. So for example, the enemies can steal resources from you, or they might just want to torment you. They make the decisions based on their individual objectives and experience, making them feel much more alive. And despite the fact that the cannibals can feel emotion, your character is a stone cold survivor. And after the devs revealed the removal of the sanity system, enemies fall into several categories, similar to the forest, but with a big major improvement with the help of their new AI. We of course will get to see some regular cannibals that can be found alone or in groups, and they can fall under the direction and influence of a nearby leader who will be guiding their actions. They will have complex emotions such as fear, as you can see here, the cannibals running away from seeing the sight of the fallen soldiers, or they can even express sadness as this cannibal mourns the loss of his friend. Then there are also cave cannibals with no markings, no clothing, no skin pigment or even eyes. These variants have clearly been living in these caves for many years. And finally, we have seen the masked cannibals, which are much larger and stronger than others. They use a golden mask to display their statue. So, as the player will be able to even craft such a mask to then either blend in or even win the exception of this group. It's unclear if this giant hand is pulling away a body from the crash site is one of these giants, or if it belongs to a yet to be revealed mutant. And speaking of mutants, there will be several new varieties and creatures with the improved AI, so mutants will be a lot more interesting in caves. Instead of standing in one single spot, they will roam through caves, some making nests, others going to get water when they're thirsty and much more. You will never really know where they are or what to expect. So then let's take a look at the map. And the map in the Sons of the Forest, known as the Site number 2, is reportedly around 4 to 5 times bigger than what we experienced in the forest, which was estimated to be about 1 square kilometer. And the location is again what appears to be the Pacific Northwest, but instead just having snow biome in one part of the map, we will actually get to see a changing of the seasons. Leaves will change the color on the trees, the water particles will run up the river, then the turtles will lay their eggs on the beach, and natural food options will become more scarce, as the summer gives way to a deep snowy winter. The game will feature up to 8-player co-op, but if you're like me and you like to play solo, then you will benefit from the addition of the AI companions. We know quite a bit about one of our main companions. He might not be as talkative as he once was, but he can read and follow your basic instructions as you take the lead on the construction and survival. Multiple reports indicate that Kelvin is a great asset in that his AI works wonderfully. He will also look out for himself in the combat without being a liability. On top of all of this, he will even gather the specific resources without hesitating, but then he will need to take some occasional breaks, and he will respond to how he's being treated by you. And then there is Virginia, and from the trailers we've seen that she's a little bit wild at first, but she can be more or less tamed. She is at least part mutant, with 3 arms and 3 legs, which appears to make her pretty adept at dual-wielding weapons in combat. So similar to Kelvin, she'll become attached to you and help you with your tasks. But she might also reveal information to you that's relevant to the story. From listening to dev interviews and watching trailers, it seems like there are even more unique AI companions, and with the game going into early access, perhaps they will add even more. Unfortunately, Sons of the Forest will only be released on PC for now, and we don't have any confirmation on if or when a console port will be available. However, here are some system requirements. So the minimum is an Intel i5-8400 or AMD Ryzen 3 3300X CPUs, and then NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1060 or AMD Radeon RX 750 GPUs. And then the recommended system is to have at least i7 8700K or AMD Ryzen 5 3600 CPU, and then NVIDIA GeForce 1080 Ti or AMD Radeon 5700 XT. If we compare both games, so the Forest against the Sons of the Forest, then there is a quite big system requirement difference. So don't expect to be able to run the Sons of the Forest with the same frame rate if you could previously run the Forest. If your PC falls in between the minimum and recommended specs, I strongly recommend you to check out a website called Can You Run It? Then click on the website, then click on search bar, and then type Sons of the Forest, and then click on Can You Run It? And this will give you a detailed description on what your PC specs is and how likely your computer is able to run the game. So it's very hard not to get excited on when you look at all this new footage and when you hear about all the new and unique game mechanics. Multiple alpha testers of the Sons of the Forest so far have indicated that this game is going to be 2 times as much fun and better than the first game. But with the multiple delays and the announcement of an early access period, I expect that there might be some bugs or glitches that you might run into. But to be honest, that is not going to stop me from buying the game for $30 on February 23rd and giving it a try for myself. So with that said, I really do appreciate everyone for watching guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, feedback or other Sons of the Forest guides or video topics that you would like to see in the next video, then feel free to leave your comments in the comment section down below. And while you're doing that, please click like, subscribe and enable that notification bell, so this way you could support the channel and you won't miss any more amazing content from me. With all this said, you have an amazing day and I will see you in my next video. So take it easy, peace.